about that. But look, you know, we know that very few structures remain in Alexandria, you know, about the African-American legacy. I mean, we know Parker Gray's no longer there. Me and Horace have talked about there's no stone, there's no headstone, you know, there's nothing really. There's nothing about the, you know, the theater, Pendleton Street Boys Club, or what have you. So what can be done to ensure, you know, the legacy of Earl Lloyd?
Well, I think this is one way to do it. I mean, because it's going to be there. Earl Lloyd, if people walk into that gym from now on, and after paying almost $100 million for the school, that gym will be there a while, and see the name Earl Lloyd, they have to at least ask, who is Earl Lloyd? Mm-hmm. And I think that gives everybody a chance to not only know about it, and I would hope that the school would use it as a teaching opportunity for young folks coming up to make that part of their knowledge. What is Earl Lloyd? The things that are named in that school, kids that go there ought to know who those people are.
Now, do you really think it's going to happen? I mean, we could keep this very, very real. I mean, you know, we know that our culture and our history is becoming extinct. And do you in your heart really think that they're going to teach and educate and talk about Parker Gray, talk about, you know, the things that you think they're going to go backwards, especially in a high school where Mr. T.C. Williams, who we know who he was, all right? Yeah. Do you think that's going to happen? I'm just asking.
I honestly do. And the reason I think it will happen is because you have something there, and if it does nothing but have people ask the question. Because you can go up there right now, and I dare say that most of the kids up there don't know Earl Lloyd and don't know Parker Gray. But I'll bet you after they see this all the time, they will at least know what it's about, and somebody will tell them what it's about.
Well, I think, and you had mentioned that they were going to be playing in you know, Parker Gray replica jerseys. Mr. Burts and Mr. Burton, how when you hear that, you know, that somebody's actually going to be playing in a jersey that has your name and Parker Gray and you know, your number, I mean, how does that make you all feel?
Well, it makes you feel like you have accomplished something, you know, and that the people within the city respect you and honor you. Shows that you have promoted yourself to some degree of respect. And I think, like with Earl, I think that's what he has done. He has loved this city all his life, and I think each and every one of us that was born and raised here, and I went to Parker Gray, loved this city. And I think the city has loved us, too, because we have gotten a lot of backing from this city. And not too long ago, like I said, Earl was presented in the George Washington birthday parade, which was the first black that was ever honored to be
Grand Marshal,
and,
right.
So they are really going to consider him to some degree. I think for the rest of his career, or for the coming future in this city.
Well, I have a different take on this whole situation, really.
And what's that?
And that is, the fact is that if there isn't anything up there besides just the floor up there that they're going to name for Earl, is there a bus or something that they're going to put up there? I'd like to know that when they come in the door that there would be a bus up there.
Right, a bus like a Hall of Fame
like
type bus, bronze,
things like that.
Bronze structure.
And then that would make somebody read the history, the historicity of the whole situation. But just, you know, the emblem on the floor, a name on the floor, I'm hoping that this is what will happen. And I hope that Mr. Miller can tell us that this is what will happen. Because I feel if it don't happen that way, that it just be a name thrown out there and everything, because it can get caught up. Because them kids are not going to read the history of Earl Lloyd or something like that until there's a bus up there. Most people walk in there, see this bus, well, they're going to read and find out what's going on. You know,
that's a very
the history
good
of
point.
it. So that's what.
Let me just say this, because as you know now, there is in the lobby the picture of Earl with his Parker gray uniform. I've already talked to the folks up at the school about putting this in the lobby, which sort of tells the Earl Lloyd story. And I've gotten favorable response that they're willing to do it. I don't know that you get a bus that gets in the money, because let me just tell you this, the Parker gray uniforms they're playing in were not bought by the school system. Quite frankly, I got Coach Boone to spring for the cost of the uniforms. And he wanted to do it, but he wanted to be sure that they didn't just play in them one night and then pack them away. So,
but if we're talking about legacies and history and preserving, the history and the legacy, I don't think cost, really should be a point. I mean, I think basically it's what we call a by any means necessary type thing, and I mean that's actually a very, very good suggestion.
Well, I think it's a good suggestion. Cost is not a problem, but I think we got to find ways of funding it, because I don't think you're going to get it out of the school budget anymore.
No,
we could get
that's true. But I'll tell you this: you are watching Hoop Academy Project, and I know that that now the thought is out there. Okay, the thought is out there, and it's a noble thought and a credible thought. So maybe something will be done. I mean, right now it's what, September 23rd, 25th. So from this day forward, maybe that could be something that could be worked on. I mean, it needs to be worked on, because, like you said, if the reading and the knowledge of knowing would help preserve and cause that extinction to subside some. Because, like we said, Parker Gray is no longer here. There's a whole bunch of African American structures and history that's gone, and our younger generation is losing it, and we know that. So I mean that's a very good thought. But let me ask this: with the history of Parker Gray, are there any other Parker Gray graduates or people who worked at Parker Gray or went to Parker Gray that are deserving of an honor such as this also? Or to be recognized?
Well,
Just curious.
I'm sure there are some, and some that work there. One that you hear Earl talk about a lot, Helen Day. The post office is named after her. I'm sure. Well, Ferdinand, the atrium in T.C. Williams is named after him.
Should there be something done for Coach Johnson?
That should be.
I'm just asking. Because, like I said, everyone that I've talked to that went to Parker Gray between a certain time, between the 40s and the early 50s, I always hear Coach Johnson's
Actually,
name.
up through the 60s, because he was still there.
I always hear. I see you ready to say something.
Yes, I'm definitely ready to say something. For the simple reason is that if you want the history of Parker Gray from my time on, you'd have to put another coach in there. And that's a coach by the name of Stevenson. And he is the one that really put that dream team together. Coach Johnson came back from the Army and took it over, and then he put that ball in Sherman McGuire's hand, and we started moving then. So we also have a young man by the name of Tex Matthew and Herbert Spears, who was on that same team, and they're out here now. So therefore, you'd have to go back and put Coach Stevenson in there. And they had another coach named Henry. But Coach Henry and everything, well, he was just there.
Learning.
Yeah, but Coach Stevenson.
But to hear this, I don't mean to cut you off, Mo, but to hear this, there's a lot of history out there.
A lot of history.
Because if you look, you talk about coaches after you guys left. Coach Thurman.
Who won four championships in a row.
Well, that's right.
And here's the thing that I want the viewers and the listeners and anyone that is watching this show. This was all during a time when segregation was at its peak.
Straight up.
That's right.
And
Straight up.
And the system was designed for the black people not to raise up or not to achieve or accomplish. I mean, you just talked about 11th grade. That's where you can only go to 11th grade. I mean, we can't even fathom going to the 11th grade and I'm saying, okay, that's it, your education is over. You know, we talk about how Parker Gray was so small and across the tracks was GW. I mean, that's a whole nother show, but I'm just saying, so it's like a lot came out of this, and not only the man who is actually going to be, you know, have the floor dedicated on the first, but a lot of history that our youngsters are not really aware of has come out of just one school with 300 and some odd students, 150 some odd males in a town called Alexandria.
Well, let me say this. In 1945, you could go to any college, black college in the United States, and there was a black athlete in college from Parker Gray High School, believe it or not. And that was just outstanding because we used to play all of them and play against each other and everything, and it was fun to go from one college to the other and make fun of, you know,
of your former classmate.
Your former classmate. And that was a beautiful thing. And all the colleges come to Alexandria looking for ball players and everything.
And isn't it interesting, Melvin, that a lot of colleges was in a league called the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association, the CIAA. Okay, colored. Okay, see now they call it Central because I guess it's not. You know, colored intercollegiate. But isn't it interesting how you actually approached Earl at a CIAA tournament?
Yes.
So, which is, I mean, he went to a CIAA school and. You know, it's just how it came full circle that you actually, you know, approached him about this. I see him there every year.
I was there when he was inducted into the CIAA Hall of Fame.
Hold up, yeah. Colored intercollegiate. I mean, no, because Cameron, Rodney, and myself, we both went to CIAA schools, and you know,
that's what it was.
Colored.
That's right.
Okay.
But you have to give credit to Mr. Miller, to my friend from St. Aug, that this thing is working, and he has worked hard on it, and I don't know who's working on it with him, but I feel proud to be sitting here to give homage to my homeboy, and for y'all to take it up, for you people to take it up, and let us vent our ways and what we think about the situation. So therefore, I have to praise him. I have to give him praise for it.
Well, we don't call it vent. We call it history, for real. Because anything, I mean, as a younger person, I mean, anything that you all talk about is history to the younger generation. That's how we have to look at it. And you know, we don't have much time left, but Albert, you know, tell me your thoughts. I mean, we have like about 3 minutes left, and then we're going to get to you, Melvin. You know, tell me your thoughts about, you know, this event and what's in your heart.
Oh, I'm proud, and I think of the city, of this young man sitting there beside me, of the way they're going about putting this package and this program together, and this ceremony. But I also like to give Earl a lot of credit that he deserves. And so during our time, it was a hard time, but we have to give our families a whole lot of credit also, as much as we give everyone else, because the families in this town really held each other together and protected each other's children. Mm-hmm. But I think this is a great, great presentation.
Well, I just like to say I came to Alexandria a little late after Earl left. First time I saw Earl, he came to St. Aug and whipped us terribly in basketball with his West Virginia State team. But I've become a friend of his over the years. And there's a lot, you're right, there's a lot of history in Alexandria that somehow we need to resurrect and we need to put it out there. I think this is just one step, but I think we got to do it because most other folks in town don't know about it. And if those of us that know about it or can find out about it don't do it, it'll never happen.
Mm-hmm. And it'll be extinct. And on that note, I'd like to thank y'all for watching Hoop Academy Project, and on behalf of my distinguished guests, Mr. Horace Burton, Mr. Albert Burts, and Mr. Melvin Miller, I'd like to actually thank you. And one more thing I just want to ask. Has anybody gotten in touch with y'all about this event?
Not I.
Okay.
No.
All right. And so, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel kind of left out, for the fact is I got to hear it from Mr. Miller, and I don't know what's going on. So seem like I'm out of the
loop.
Well, the loop, you can call it out of touch. And that's what it is. And as soon as I find out what's going on, because I want to pray. So how can I help to help this situation? To raise his hand and say, hey, look, I had a helping hand in there.
Albert?
Well, I'm disappointed that more of us don't know about it. But like I say, it could be that they haven't got all the information to who they can contact, because a lot of us are not around now. But I'm quite sure, knowing these people in this town and Mr. Miller who's running this thing, I'm quite sure it'll get to us.
So what is that going to happen, Melvin?
Sure,
as we leave this show, you're going to make sure.
So I've been trying to make sure, because Horace knows I've been talking to him to try to find all these guys that played with her. And I will tell you this, the thing is confused because it's mixed in with this tip-off challenge.
And notice we didn't even talk about it.
We didn't talk about it. That's a different issue.
Exactly. Because
but that's something that we have to understand. They really don't know at this point. Nobody really knows at this point what they're really going to do about the Earl Lloyd presentation. I'm going to be working on that, and I can assure you that everybody that needs to be involved will be involved. It's December 1st, and we got a couple of months, and it will come off, and it will be the kind of thing that not only we all will be proud of, but that Earl will be proud of.
Yeah. Well, look, the tip-off is a game, and after it's done, there'll be popcorn on the floor, but the Earl Lloyd legacy and the history of Parker Gray will last forever. And on that note, I'd like to thank you for watching Hoop Academy Project, and like I said, for my esteemed guests, Mr. Horace Burton, Albert Burts, and Melvin Miller, I'm Derek Limas, and keep watching and stay tuned. Thank you.